Espanola Way, truly one of the most unique streets in Miami Beach. Paul, you really get the feeling like you're walking down a street in an old world city.
It's exactly what the designers had in mind here, was to build a street, an old world street, attractive to artists and artisans. In fact, let me show you on the map exactly where we're at. This is the Art Deco district. We're here at Espanola Way and Meridian. We're going to walk a block east along Espanola Way down to Washington. Espanola Way was designed to attract artists to the area by creating a continental, very sophisticated community.
Like a very elaborate villa.
That's exactly what it is. William Whitman, a Chicago industrialist in 1922, began to design this street. His idea was to put a whole series of shops and apartments throughout this area, and he went to work at it, but in 1924, a man named M.B.T. Roney, who was a hotel magnate, bought the property and had these grandiose plans for it, including 6 hotels and corner lots and about a dozen shops and apartments. But this great real estate boom went bust in 1926, and so he never got much beyond 2 hotels, as well as about a dozen stores and shops. And the idea, of course, was to have the artists and artisans working at ground level and living then in apartments right above where they worked.
Very European.
Very much so. In fact, if you look around, look at some of the quaint boutiques here and galleries and different shops and stores. Even on occasion, there'll be models here conducting shoots.
Had a real bohemian village feel to it.
Very much so.
Here on the east side of Espanola Way is the old Clay Hotel, which is now the International Youth Hostel.
It was built in 1925 by M.B.T. Roney, who wanted to house here the musicians and the artists and the writers that he hoped to attract to this area. But by the 1930s, though, it was beginning to attract the likes of Al Capone. Capone actually had a home on Palm Island, but he had his gambling syndicate headquartered right here. Now, on a much lighter note, though, Desi Arnaz invented the rumba right here.
I know back during the Miami Vice days, this Spanish-looking hotel was used for about 6 episodes.
That's right. They actually shot both the pilot and the final episode here. And the street outside doubled for Honduras during one of the shows.
For the past 22 years, it's been both a hotel and a hostel for travelers from all over the world. As a matter of fact, there is only one American on staff, and that's Linda Polanski, the owner.
Amazing.
Why don't we continue our journey?
Let's do it.
Well, we're at the busy intersection of Espanola Way and Washington Avenue. Paul, this was one of the buildings that you referred to earlier.
This was the old Cameo Hotel, built at the same time as the Clay by M.B.T. Roney in 1925. And in fact, speaking of the Cameo, look across the street at the Cameo Theater, built many years later. But look at the Art Deco features on this, the cantilevered marquee and the glass brick. And then look at the top, the cameo of a woman up there from which it derives its name.
So what else will we find in this neighborhood, Paul?
Well, just across the street and south of the Cameo Theater is McCrory's 5 and 10 cent store, which was an institution in this neighborhood for a long time. It was built in the late 1930s, a great example of the streamlined, modern Art Deco style of architecture. Less than a block east of here is Hoffman's Cafeteria. It's a wonderful building designed by Henry Hohauser at the outset of the 1940s. A great turreted entrance to it, a real streamlined, modern kind of a building.
Tell me about the Old City Hall.
Old City Hall is a great jewel in this neighborhood. It's a Spanish Mediterranean style building built through the monies of Carl Fisher in 1927. He hired a great architect, Martin Luther Hampton, to design it. And he built it actually as a testament to his belief that Miami Beach was going to come back from the economic downturn caused by the collapse of the boom and the great hurricane that hit the beach in September of 1926.
All in all, quite an interesting neighborhood.
It really is.
Why don't we head up a few blocks north to see Carl Fisher's Pride and Joy, Lincoln Road.
Sounds like a great idea.
Next time on New Florida, we'll see how Carl Fisher's dream for an exclusive shopping district came true with Lincoln Road. And we'll see how the rebirth of the Lincoln Road Mall in the past few years has signaled a change for Miami Beach.